Hey guys, Dudley from Mossy Oak Gamekeepers here. Let's talk about turkeys. Improving their habitat, in my opinion, is the most important aspect of hatching and raising a new crop of turkeys for the next year that we can enjoy. Once you've accomplished your habitat goals, you need nesting cover so that hen can hide. We need brooding cover so when those babies hatch, they can be safe. Food plots make a tremendous impact. Things like clover. Turkeys will eat the clover, but they'll also eat the insects out of the clover. Other things you can do, some people will say park your bush hog. I'm not going to say park your bush hog. You need to maintain your roads. You can use a bush hog to widen your roads. But I will say use it less and don't even consider using it in the nesting season. If you've got like an overgrown food plot that's 2 or 3 feet tall and you think it looks ugly, well, ugly is good for wildlife. And if you're going to bush hog your roads, you may want to consider only bush hogging the right side on year 1 and then bush hog the left side on year 2. That way you've always got some type of cover on the sides of the roads. Just picture this scenario in your mind. What if you see a hen turkey walking down a perfectly mowed road? There could be a bobcat just sitting there waiting on it. But if there's some thick stuff on the side of the road, they may have somewhere to hide. So aesthetics for a human is not aesthetically pleasing for a turkey. So try to keep that in mind. You do want some wide open hardwoods. They kind of like to strut around in wide open hardwoods in the spring. You want different stages of habitat, whether that be tall trees. Some areas you want the trees close together. Some areas you want to thin them so the trees are further apart and you have sunlight hitting the ground and vegetation on the ground. You want little openings in your uplands. You want little openings in your bottoms. So again, diversity always wins with most types of wildlife. If you're trying to make it look pretty by human standards, you're probably not doing a good job.
Now, one of the things that's so important for us as landowners and managers to think about is providing the right nesting and brood rearing cover to ensure that we're having a successful hatch. And there's really a difference in that in the sense of how the vegetation is structured and the type of vegetation. So again, you have to think about when a turkey is going to be nesting, they're going to be placing their eggs out there and they're going to basically be sitting there for at least 28 days. And so having the right cover that's going to be able to protect that nest of egg is going to be really important to provide. That's typically going to be more of your grasses and forbs that are going to be a little bit taller in terms of height, typically something 2 to 2.5 to 3 feet. Now let's talk about brooding cover. You have to think about when a turkey is first hatched, they're going to be about the size of a small quail. And so they're coming out of these eggs and they've got to have a understory that's going to allow them to move around, that's going to provide them insects and small seeds to eat and provide them the protein and carbohydrates they need in that critical life stage in which they're trying to grow, but also provide them protection from predators. And so this is going to be typically a little bit lower. It's going to have more of a ground cover that's going to allow them to move around like a bare ground cover. That's why it's so important to have multiple types of vegetation and stages of vegetation on your property to ensure that you're not just providing great nesting cover, but also brooding cover.
I love planting food plots for turkeys. Multitude of reasons. I mean, quite honestly, turkeys will graze on brassicas and clovers. Chufas are phenomenal as a nutritional, high-energy winter food source. I mean, a lot of cases they'll last on into the next spring. They will keep turkeys on your place. But my favorite probably is clover. Clover can perpetuate and provide something year-round. It is great for attracting the bugs that turkeys love to catch and poults, get all their protein and stuff from. So I personally love clover, but I think in general, over time, if you can not only plant the food plots, but especially establish some perennial food plots. It's really, really good for turkeys.